Does the philosophy of like David Mamet kind of play into your beliefs, where he says in his Acting True and False book that you don't really need to feel anything as the actor, you know, it's a performance for an audience? Because there's a ton of different thoughts on this and different
I have
philosophies.
not gotten the pleasure to meet with David Mamet, and I think he's an absolute brilliant playwright.
Yes.
That being said,
when
I went to the Neighborhood Playhouse School of Theater, his picture is up on the wall. I think he even autographed his headshot where he's like, you don't need to graduate to be successful, because he did the first year at the Playhouse, was not invited back for a second year, went off and founded the Atlantic Theater School. Atlantic Theater School has the same first year as the Playhouse, from what I am told. I do not know. I did not look at your curriculum, David, so if this has changed, this is not an insult. This was just what went around the Playhouse when I went there back in 2004. 20 years ago. And then he made up his own second year. But what he says there is very interesting, right? Because there's that famous meeting of Laurence Olivier and Dustin Hoffman, where they were working on a movie together, and Dustin Hoffman was like, well, I'm not feeling it. And Laurence Olivier was like, try acting, my dear. And so I think there's a balance of the pretend and the realized. And you also have to look at like stylistically what you're doing. Stylistically, how is your character portrayed? Stylistically, how far do you need to go to be truthful? Because if something is unauthentic, it's going to read a mile away as unauthentic. Like if I'm talking to you right now, I'm being sincere. You get that I'm being sincere. But like if I'm not being sincere, if I'm being phony, and you've met people in your life who are phony,
and you know instantly.
You can feel it.
Yeah,
you can feel it. So, but if you've created a character that their whole level of real is phony, then you're dealing with a different level of things. There's a lot of craft involved, and you have to be willing to play and make mistakes. And Martha Graham, who I absolutely adore, said, you know, you have every right to go into that rehearsal room or that audition room and fall on your face so you can come back and be successful. And you're not going to be successful unless you give yourself permission to fall on your face.